All right, welcome to EE 391 MM391. I'm your lecturer for engineering economics. Welcome to today's session. Note that yesterday was Monday, and uh, we um, we were not able to have a lecture yesterday because yesterday was a public holiday. So let me just put that on our board. So yesterday was, I believe, yesterday was the 18th. Lecture 9 cancelled due due to public holiday. All right, let's now begin with today's lecture. So that was cancelled due to public holiday. All right. Okay. All right. Let's now do today's uh, lecture. All right. There's a few new concepts which I want to show you today. All right. I just want to pick up how many participants we have right now. This thing go participants. All right. We've got about 30 students who are on right now. Okay. Thank you for attending in today. Okay, all right. Let's look at this question. We were continuing from the previous question with regards to. We were continuing on from the previous particular um, tutorial, and remember, most of the time we'll be doing lots and lots of important examples. Right. Let me zoom this in. I hope you can see my Microsoft Word document. Okay. So the question was, we've got to do example 3 but with the following rates. First year the rate is 1%, and from second year onwards the rate is 5%. So let's copy the diagram table over. All right, there we go. Okay, but our rates have changed. So let me just delete some of the answers which we had from early on. These rates changed. All right, remember when we were looking at um, the particular, when we were looking at 2% as compared to 5%, we found that the combination of answers became different, right? So now we are looking at different rates now. Okay, let me just clean this up a little bit because we're going to now change the rates. All right. Now, let's now roll back. Let's now select today's time frame as the value. All right. Okay. Okay. And the question is basically this: that if somebody is deposited for the first year, the bank is giving a rate of 1%, but for the second year, if you stay with the bank for longer period, they give you a rate of 5%. All right, so that's the catch over here. All right. Okay. Okay. All right, so let's see. So in terms of today's time frame, if they were giving $100 would be, what would it be, guys? $100 would carry a value of still $100. So that's, now we're using today's time frame. Now let's look at the 5%. Let's look at the 5%. In terms of 5%, right? In terms of this second choice, choice number 2, in today's time frame, we're looking at it in today's time frame. Choice number 2, what would that be, guys? Choice number 2 would be what? Guys, what do we get? Choice number 2. What percentage rate would you choose? Well, remember, choice number 2 has to be rolled back from what? Has to be rolled back from year 2. So because choice number 2 has to be rolled back from year 2, um, because choice number 2 has to be rolled back from year 2, well, that means we have to apply a particular interest rate or discount rate in this case of 5%. Why do we get 5%? Well, because if somebody stayed with the bank for 2 years, they would have received a discount an interest rate of 5%. So we now change that to 5, and we've got this answer. We have this answer of 5%. I mean, of $110 divided by 5%. So what do we get? What was the answer if we did it divide by 5%? Let's scroll back. That is $99.77. Okay, $99.77. Okay, there we go. All right, now let's compare choice 3. This is the tricky one, because in the third choice, you've got $20 from today, $50 from year 1, and $35 from year 2, right? So let me just clarify the question over here. The question says, if a person deposits with the bank for longer, they receive a different rate. The longer the period of deposit, the higher the return. Okay, so that's just like how our term deposit systems work with our bank. All right, so let's have a look at this guy. So $20 is from today, so that will be $20 because there's no compounding going on there. $50 is from next year, in 1 year's time. So what will be the interest rate for $50, guys? Anyone? The interest rate for $50 will be, and if you feel shy to speak, you can always put it in the chat box. All right, what do you think it is? 1%. Yes, Amit, that's right. So 1%, 1% here. There we go, 1%. And $35 is being discounted from 2 years' time. So what rate you use for $35? We use 5%. All right, so what do we get? Can somebody give me the answer for this? Anyone? You can put your answer in the chat box if you wish.
Pardon?
What is the answer? What answer would we get? Remember, $50 has been discounted by 1 year, but because it had been sitting in the bank for 1 year, it is assumed we are discounting, right? We are using today's time frame. If you want to discount it by 1 year, then obviously we have to use an interest rate of 1% because that's the rate for 1 year. And the interest rate for 2 years and above is 5%. So what answer do we get over here, guys? 101.25. I take your answer to be correct. If somebody can confirm Amit's answer is correct, 101.25. That's our answer. So we don't really need these guys here, all right? Year 1 really is not needed. So which answer is the best? Which is the best particular scenario in this situation, my friends? The best answer comes from choice number 3. So this will be the best. All right, this becomes the best. What's your second best? This is
the best. It's which category the best? Look at the interest rate. I mean the amount of it.
Sorry, please repeat your question. I couldn't quite hear you. I couldn't quite understand what you're saying. Can you repeat that question?
How do we choose the best?
Oh, how do we choose the best? Okay, which one gives you the highest return. See, 101 is the best, it's got the highest amount, $100 is the second highest, and 99 is the last worst. So the best returns is given for choice 3. So answer in this case is choice 3. Right? Okay. You understood my question? You understood my methodology?
Yes, yes.
Okay, nice. Nice. All right. Okay. So we don't have to do it in all 3 time frames. Even if you do it in one, you'll get the right answer. All right. And if you want as homework, you can do it from a second year time point of view. All right. Okay. So that was with regards to that's our particular topic on discounting and compounding. All right. Discounting and compounding. All right. So now we move on to another particular concept. I want to teach you a new concept of I want to teach you a new concept of I want to show you something new. So let me just take it to the new page. Um, I want to tell you something about something known as a cash flow diagram. A cash flow diagram. Okay, that's a new something new which I want to show you. All right, cash flow diagram. Now, a cash flow diagram is a diagram which is used to show when money is received or when money is going out. All right. Okay. So I'll try my best here to show you some cash flow diagrams. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Let me show you what a cash flow diagram looks like. Oh, sorry. Just a second. Okay, this is one example of a cash flow diagram, guys. This is I mean, I'm not telling you what it is. This is a simple cash flow diagram. We'll learn all these things later on, but this is a cash flow diagram. A cash flow diagram is, let me make it slow more. Can you guys see this diagram on the screen, guys? Are you able to see the diagram on the screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. It's like a number line. Do you remember number line from primary school? It's like a number line, right? With arrows, pointing upwards or downwards. Okay. All right. Now, if the arrow points, if an arrow, okay, so it's like a number line. Can you see the number line? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this 1, 2, 3, that's your time axis. All right, okay. So the number line represents time, right? It can be in months or years, or even can be weeks, All right, okay. Can you see this number line? Okay, I'll show you another one. Let me show you another one. Another one. Okay, let me show you another image. Guys, if there's any problem where you can't see what I'm writing or pasting on the screen, let me know, all right? Okay, so that's another one. One, two, all right. Can you see there's another one? That's a number line. All right, don't worry so much about all these things there. I'm explaining that's what the purpose of the lecture is about, all right? Okay, it's, all right. So now, if an arrow points upwards, that means that cash is coming inwards. All right, cash is coming inwards. If an arrow is pointing downwards, cash is going inwards into the business or yourself or entity, right? So maybe if you are running your own canteen, right, cash is going outwards from the business or entity. All right, guys, any questions so far? Any questions? This is a very important new concept which I'm showing to you. Are there any questions?
Is
Questions?
already on the lecture notes, or
Guys, can you see the can you see my screen? Are you seeing my Word document, or what can you see on your screen right now?
yes?
Cash flow diagram.
Yeah, cash flow diagram. Okay, so yeah, all right, guys. So the point I'm trying to make over here is this is an example of a cash flow diagram. All right, I'm not explaining it. I'm just introducing you. Introduction. All right, this is an introduction. Introduction to cash flow diagrams. All right. Introduction to cash flow diagrams. Okay, so if it's like a number line, have a look at both of these guys, right? It's like a number line. You see these numbers 1, 2, 3. The number 1 does not start in the corner. That's the number 0. That's your starting point. Your number 1, 2, 3. These numbers represents points in time, right? So it's like a timeline, right? So a better way to say this is, so a better way to describe the number line is a timeline. So it's a timeline. If you look at this is a timeline, right? And this 1, 2, 3 can be, it depends on what you're doing. It can be years, it can be months, it can be weeks, generally weeks, months, or years. So businesses, they usually operate on months. That can be months. If you take a loan, you can talk about it in terms of years, depending on what your situation is. Now, look at these arrows. If there's an arrow pointing upwards, what does that mean? That arrow means that it is cash coming into the system. So if you looking at it from the point of view of a particular if you're looking at it from the point of view of a particular business, if the arrow is coming upwards, that means cash is coming into the system. If the arrow is pointing downwards, that means cash is leaving the system. All right, cash is leaving the system. All right, so these are two different things. So what can you tell me about this particular timeline from just reading this timeline? This cash flow diagram number 1. What can you tell me, guys? What are you able to tell me about this particular cash flow diagram? Anyone? Let's have a discussion about this particular cash flow diagram. What can you tell me Okay, let's look at this thing here. What happened over here? This first arrow, right? I'm just going to discuss it, but I would like you to note this down, all right? What happened during this first arrow over here? Yes, the original expense. Yes, they invested some money. Let's say I think this is from my perspective. You can note this down. I'm not going to type it out, but I want you to note this down in your exercise book. Right. By the way, you must bring your exercise book to the lecture before the lecture starts so that you can note these things down. All right. Okay. So this, from what I'm reading over here, is they invested in, let's say, a taxi or something which was making some money. All right. So they bought a taxi. So let's say you buy a taxi. How much does the taxi cost, guys? To $24,000. 24,000. All right. So the taxi cost you $24,000, but every year it is making you a profit of, how much profit is it making you? 3,500. Every year it's making you a profit of 3,500. 3,500. Can you see 3,500? Eventually, after 7 years of making 3,500 per year, what did you do to that taxi? You sold the taxi, right? Obviously, you bought the taxi for 24,000, but after 7 years of use, the taxi does not carry any value. You sold it for $1,250, right? $1,250. So that's your salvage value, right? So original investment is 24,000, and this annual income, which is same throughout, was 3,500 per annum. All right. And after 7 years, because the value has depreciated, you sold it for $1,250, which is also called your salvage value. Right. So that's a cash flow diagram, guys. Let's look at another one over here. Let's look at another one over here. All right. Okay. This one over here. What does it say? Well, it seems like, can you see this word here, annuity? I want you to note this word annuity. Annuity means whenever there is an equivalent amount of income per year. Whenever there is an equivalent. Can you see 3,500 consistent income per year? That's called annuity. All right. Okay, let's look at this boy. All right. Uh, let's look at this particular timeline or this cash flow diagram. So let's say this is some type of uh, some type of machinery which you are operating. Let's say a pump or something, right? Okay, it's some sort of pump to pump water, right? So the original cost was 55,000, right? Right? And obviously, when you were using that pump, you had to use petrol or something like that, right? So your annual operating cost is $9,500 per year, right? After 6 years of use, your after 6 years of use, what happened, guys? After 6 years of use, your particular pump required some sort of, what did the pump require? It required some sort of rebuild, maintenance, major maintenance, major rebuild cost. So what you have to do, apart from the normal $9,500 which we are using for engine oil and oil filter and petrol, which was $9,500 consistently per year, right? Let's assume there's no change in the price of fuel. You had to do some $22,000 worth of, an additional $22,000 worth of $22,000 worth of maintenance and heavy upgrade, right? Then you continue to use it. Then in the ninth year, what did you do? You sold that water pump for $6,000. So that's the salvage value. Salvage value is the value which you get back after your entire thing is done. All right, guys, any questions? Any questions with regards to my explanation? We will do some more. We will do some more. Don't worry. This is a new concept. I will show you. Guys, any questions with regards to these two diagrams? Anyone?
So how do we understand the cash flow
Okay,
calculation?
right. Okay, let's do some exercises now. Let's do some exercises with regards to cash flow diagram. Okay. Um, okay, I'm going to share the screen again. Um, all right. I'm going to, guys. I'm. Hang on a second. All right. Um, I'm going to share the screen again once more. Let's open Zoom. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's happening here. Hello. I'd like to share the screen. Guys, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Okay. I don't know what happened to my Zoom controls. Sorry, guys. I can't. Right. Set. I found it. Found it. Found it. Okay. I'm going to share the screen again. I'm going to share the screen again. I'm going to share the. I'm going to share the particular Moodle shell. Can you see the Moodle shell, guys? Hello? Can you see the Moodle shell? All right.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
If you come to this particular week 8, you'll see something over here called Basics of Cash Flow Diagram. I want you to click on that, right? And it will open up the cash flow exercise, and it's example says example 1 week 9. So I'm going to open that up again. All right. Okay. Let's now. I want to show you this presentation. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. All right. There we are. Okay. So this diagram is there. Stop sharing. Okay. I'm going to share again. I'm going to share another document. I'm going to share this Word document which says cash flow exercises. All right, guys. So there we are. Cash flow exercises. All right. Let's look at the rules, guys. Cash flows. Okay. Guys, can you see this in-class exercise? We're going to do this in-class exercise. Are you able to see my diagram? Everyone? Guys, I need feedback from you.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So cash flow rules. Number 1, let's have a look. Cash flows cannot be added or subtracted unless they occur at the same point in time. So these are some of the rules, all right? So can you see, let's say in this particular scenario, let's look at this first slide over here, right? If you have, let's say in this case, you were receiving $2,000 per year, because those are the blue arrows pointing upwards. Suddenly, there was a $3,000 per year downwards. So what, if they're happening at the same point, what does that mean? You can add and subtract. So that particular thing can be summarized as $1,000 downwards, right? You can summarize that as $1,000 downwards. So, right? So in year 2, right? In year 2, you can redraw this. You can redraw this as such. Let me show you. Sorry. Let me show you this. Sorry. Let me just open up my paint over here. And instead of sharing just the particular thing, I'm going to share the entire screen so that you can see screen 2, sorry, screen 1, share. All right, can you see my Microsoft Paint over there, guys? All right.
Yes.
So what we'll do is, let me just copy this, bring up Paint. Where's my Paint gone? Where's my Paint? Okay. All right. All right. Now what we can do, guys, is this will now look like this will become something like this. This will become, guys, can you see what I'm showing over here? Do you see what I've done? Look on the left hand side and look on the right hand side. Hello? Right? Can you see what I've done on the left hand side and the right hand side? Can you see that $2,000 was sitting on top of there's $2,000 cash coming in, but there was $3,000 of cash leaving. So therefore the net effect, what is the net effect on year number 2? Let's say, okay, the other thing was, can you see how the timeline, your timeline has got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That's years or months or something like that, right? So let's say in that second month, so 0 is your starting point. That's now. You can never start from 1. You've got to start from 0. All right. Now, what we have is your in your second year or your second month, $2,000 cash flowed inwards, but $3,000 cash flowed outwards. So therefore, the net effect was, what is the net effect? You have $1,000 cash outwards. So that's rule number 1. Right, so that's a demonstration of rule number 1. All right, guys. So let me just see if I can just copy, select this thing here. All right, I'll copy this. Okay, let's come back to my. Are you seeing my Word document now, guys? Hello? Are you seeing the Word document again?
Yes,
Come on, guys, help me out. Who did I appoint to help me out with the audio and all that? Okay, let's look at the second point. Just a second. I don't know what's wrong today. All my equipment is malfunctioning. Just a second, guys. Just a second. Okay, now let's look at the second one. All right, let's look at point number 2 now. In point number 2, you have cash flow occurring during a period are counted at the end of the period. That's the second rule. All right. Okay, so let's say if you incur an expense, let's say this is year 1, year 2, year 3. Guys, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Now, at the end of year 1, year 2, year 3, but let's say you incurred some expense in the middle of the year. If your timeline is in years, If this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is in years, and you incurred some expense in the middle of the year, you have to map it at the end of the year. All right, you have to map it on the number. You understand what I'm saying? Can you see this? All right, so that's the second rule. Now let's look at the third rule. Now, types of costs. The first cost, or initial investment, or capital cost. These are three names. These are the three names. Capital cost, initial investments, or the first cost is expense to or to buy, to build or to buy or to install. And that's always a negative. It's always a negative cost. So that's why if we look at the other Word document, can you see originally always in the cash flow diagram in the beginning there is a downwards arrow because that's our initial cost or our investment or our purchase cost or something like that. All right. Okay. Now the second point is the operation and maintenance cost. That's an annual expense. Now in engineering, that's a real deal kind of expense. You will always have in engineering. You will always have a particular maintenance cost or some sort of maintenance cost or some sort of labor or minor repairs or petrol costs or electricity, something which is going on. So that's why you always have an annual cost. Let me show you the other diagram. Can you, when I flip over to the other Word document, are you able to see the other Word document? Are you able to see me flipping it over, guys?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Can you see that in the second one, right? Can you see that there is always a downward arrow, right? There is a downward arrow pointing downwards. So that was, your maintenance costs or your operating costs. All right. Okay. Now, let's look at the third point, salvage value. This is the receipt at the project termination for sale or transfer of equipment and can be salvage cost, example, disposal cost. So let's have a look at the other diagram. Let's have a look at the other one. Do you remember whenever at the end of the thing, this guy sold his taxi? He sold his taxi, therefore he made a $1,250 salvage value. Over here, the pump was sold for $6,000. So that's salvage value at the end of the term. All right. Now, revenues, annual receipts due from the sales of product or services. So let's have a look at these two examples over here. Can you see our revenue? Right, that's our revenue, $3,500 per annum. All right, and if it's consistent, you call that annuity. Okay, then there's overhaul. There's a major capital cost in the middle somewhere, right? It occurs during the life of the example. All right, so what do? We come here and let me show you overhaul cost. The example was over here. Overhaul cost. That's an overhaul cost. Sometimes it's called a rebuild cost. All right, let's do some examples, guys. Let's do some examples. Okay, example 1. Let me cross this over onto our lecture notes. Okay, example 1. Example 1 for cash flow diagram, guys. Maybe just make this a bit smaller, just so that I can fit all the slides in. All right, nice, very good. Okay, let's draw the diagram for this. A machine will cost $30,000 to purchase. Annual operating and maintenance costs will be $2,000. The machine will save $10,000 per cost, $10,000 per year in labor costs. The salvage value of the machine after 5 years will be $7,000. Draw the cash flow diagram. Let's do that, guys. Let's do that. All right. I'm going to, maybe instead of paint, I'm going to try and instead of paint, I will try and do the share on the board. All right. Maybe if I can annotate. Oh yes, nice. Right. Okay, I'll do it over here. Let me just make this question a bit smaller. Oh, I don't have to make it smaller. All right. All right, let me open that screen, okay, and annotate. There we go. Let's annotate. Okay, so let's look at what the question said, guys. Do you guys remember the question? Maybe I made a mistake. I should put it in the same place. Example. All right, there we go. Make this slightly smaller so that we can save some space on the screen. All right. Okay. Annotate. All right. So this machine costs how much? Right. So let's the first thing we have to do, we draw our number line. Sorry guys if this is not so neat. I apologize. I'm not so used to teaching. Okay. So let's mark the number line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and what point is this, guys? Okay, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's our timeline, right? That's our timeline. Okay, where's the eraser in this? Oh, shite. Sorry. Where the hell is the... I don't want the eraser. No. Oh, man. Okay, nice. All right, okay. Okay, now, $30,000. $30,000 is the original cost. What do we get? $30,000. All right? Okay? 30,000. So, let me type that up. 30,000 downwards. So put this in red. I just want to change the color. Okay. All right. Next. So, the machine will cost $30,000 to purchase. Right? So that when does this occur, guys? $30,000 will always occur when? When does it occur? It always occurs in the beginning. All right. Now, an annual operating cost of $2,000 per annum. Oh, wow. $2,000 per annum. Okay. So $2,000 per annum. Okay. One, two, three. When does the cost occur, guys? It can't be on zero. You may be asking me, hey, how come this particular what do you call how come it didn't have $2,000 in the beginning one? Well, because the expense, the operating expenses, does not happen straight away. The operating expense does not happen straight away. Okay, it does not happen straight away. The operating expense happens after the first year. Okay, So another one is here. All right, now next. So we've dealt with the first line, we've dealt with the second line. All right, we've dealt with the first line, and we've dealt with the second line. Now let's look at the third sentence. The machine will save $10,000 per year on labor costs. So $10,000 savings, guys. What can you tell me about $10,000 savings? Guys, what can you tell me about $10,000 savings? $10,000 savings is almost like a what? Is almost like an income. So $10,000 savings. Hey, don't have to, it's not necessary to make a particular arrow big or small. You may be saying, hey, how come your $10,000 is, is small arrow and the bottom one is big arrow? No, it doesn't work like that. It just $10,000 per year savings. All right, so that's you can write down. And what sometimes what we do is, shit, I don't know how to draw. Okay, all right. There's usually a dotted line over here. There's usually a dotted line to indicate that they're all the same. All right. Now the last part, the salvage value of the machine. The salvage value of the machine is, what is the salvage value? It says the salvage value after 5 years will be $7,000. So salvage value of the machine after 5 years is $7,000. All right, $7,000. So what do? We're gonna put it up there. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's a bit messy. Sorry, I'm not too good with this drawing on the computer kind of thing. So that'll be 7K. Right, and let me put that in big. There we go, guys. So that's $7,000. That's how your cash flow diagram for that particular question looks like, right? So this is how you draw a cash flow diagram. Any questions, guys? Any question, my friends? Any question? Hello? Any questions, guys? All right, let's move to the next question. I'm gonna close this. All right. Okay. What happened here? My thing is rolling, but that thing is... I don't like Skype. I don't like this. Okay. All right. Now, let's look at the next question. Next question. Let's look at this one here. Okay, does anyone know how I can figure this thing out? How I can how I can remove this guy here? It's on Zoom, I think.
So you just have to erase it.
Oh, we have to erase it, eh? Okay, okay, wait. Let me do, I got an idea. I'm going to do a print screen. Good old friend print screen. Okay. And then I'm going to crop my print screen radio so that we can have the answer embedded within, and then we can always refer this thing. Okay, I put this small, and this guy I erase. You said I have to erase it, right? Okay, what's your name? If something goes wrong, I will come after you. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. How do we erase this? Now, annotate. Yes, eraser. Clear. Clear my drawing. Yes, good. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay, close this. Oh, I could, if there's a button there called save. I didn't know that. All right, guys, everybody has to learn, even I have to learn. Okay, okay, right, let's move to the next example. Let's move to the next example, guys. The next example, before we finish off, the next example, where did it go? All right, guys, this is example 2. And I hope now that I have learned my lesson, I hope I can help you guys faster. All right, let's now do this. A company is considering buying a machine that will cost $20,000. After 7 years, its salvage value will be $2,000. An overwhelming, what do you call, an overhaul cost of $5,000 will be needed in year 4. Operation and maintenance costs will be $2,500, right? Draw the cash flow diagram associated with the purchase of this machine. All right, nice. Okay, annotate. All right, I am ready now this time. I want to draw a line. Okay. Okay, example 2. Annotate. I want to draw a line. Right, okay, and I'll draw a line nicely in the middle. I'll color the line black. Okay, once, all right. And guys, can somebody tell me how many little things were there? Okay, so you have how many? 7 years, right? It's a 7-year time frame. Can somebody see that it's a 7-year time frame? So that's 0, that's 1, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Unfortunately, we can't rub on that side. All right. Okay. Now we put the text there, guys. We put the text. There'll be oh, that's not 1. That's not thing. That's 0, 0. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. That's 5. 6. Can you tell me this time frame? What time frame is it? Can you tell me this? Is it in years or is it in what is this in?
Yes.
Years. All right. Okay. Okay. Now let's look at the next sentence. It is considering buying a machine that will cost them how much? How much the cost, guys? 7,000 downwards, right? So 7,000 downwards. Set? Everyone okay? All right.
20,000.
Oh, 20,000.
20,000.
All right, 20,000. 20,000. Right? 20,000 downwards. Okay. Now, next. What's the next one? After 7 years, its salvage value will be $2,000. After 7 years, its salvage value will be $2,000. Oh, wrong color. Maybe I put it green. Okay, after 7 years, the salvage value will be $2,000. Sorry, how much? How much? Say 5,000, 2,000, right? After 7 years, salvage value will be 2,000. So that's your salvage value at 7 years. An overhaul cost of $5,000 will be needed in year 4. Overhaul cost of $5,000 is needed in year 4. Okay, overhaul. How much is that? How much value did they say?
Okay.
5,000, right? 5,000. Okay, now operations and maintenance cost of $2,500 per year. Operations and maintenance cost of $2,500 per year. 2,500, 2,500, 2,500. I made a mistake there. I should have done the 2,500, 2,500, 2,500. So what we usually do is, I don't know how to draw a dotted line, but I'll just say 2,500, 2.55K per year. O and M. Usually what we do, guys, is the proper terminology is the one which is the annuity, the one which is consistent, we leave it at the bottom. Okay, the one which is consistent, we leave it at the bottom, like this, right? And the one which changes, I mean, the one which is consistent, we keep it close to the number line. The one which changes is the one which we stack on top. Okay, all right, so that's our timeline, guys. That's our timeline. Okay, there's one more thing which we do. The way to draw it is we do a dotted line, which unfortunately I can't do. We do a dotted line to indicate that these are all the same. All right, you do a dotted line on all the annuities. What is an annuity? An annuity is an equivalent expense, a consistent expense, or a consistent expense, or a consistent what do you call or consistent income. So has everything been covered? Yes, everything has been covered. So that's our particular cash flow diagram, guys. All right, that's it for today. I think we are run out of time now, all right, that's it for this afternoon. We have learned how to draw a cash flow diagram.